Hello and welcome to episode number 23 of the Side Quest podcast. You're here with your host, Ben.
Your other host, Ollie, and today we are joined by the king of super smooth, sexy, milky, sexy blending, bringing his sex appeal from the USA. It is the miniature maniac, Scott.
Woo! Hey, what up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
How are we doing, man? How are you?
Doing so good. Excited to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about some shit probably this episode. I don't know. Benji does the planning. I just do the shit talking.
I feel like we have less of a plan for this episode, so we were just kind of going to free a little bit. But yeah, it'll be good. We'll work it out. We'll work it out.
So I think what we're actually going to end up talking about is something to do with YouTube. That's like it. That's the big premise, the big idea. I think, you know, all of us have different backgrounds, different sizes, different video output. Benji's not done a video since 1998. I've done 2 since the year 2004, and Scott puts out videos all the time. So, you know, there you go. You've got the full spread of shit tubers to YouTubers. You can decide who's what, though. I think we'll go from there. So, we normally kick off here a little bit, I think, with a segment on what we've all been up to for the past week. So I feel like it's only fair. Actually, we'll have Benji go first, and then Scott knows what we're talking about. Then you go, and then I'll finish off. I'll be the cherry on the cake.
Okay. So we did miss an episode last week, didn't we? Which we felt quite bad about. There was again. I think we've not been too bad lately, but we did miss an episode. But I kind of double booked my Saturday night. You had your parents over, so we've been a little bit behind. But I have been doing quite a lot of hobby, which is makes a bit of a change for me. And Ollie, am I allowed to kind of talk a little bit about? Can I show a little bit of the secret project?
Show a model. Go on, then.
Can I just
secrets?
Secrets. We've got secrets.
Ooh, hazard stripes. That's all I'm going to show.
The secret door. Yeah.
A secret little door. So yeah, hazard stripes. That's what I've been painting, and silver, lots and lots of silver. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Oh, and also I've been printing out. Which is my prints have been going on top, an entire Rohan village. So yeah, that's been exciting. Every day, kind of coming back to a new printed house is always nice. So
do you feel like the Lord? Do you go in the shed and look at all your little buildings and just feel like the king standing there, like stepping on everybody?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Crushing and then women of Rohan.
I was going to say, just to keep them all in line, I'll just crush one model every now and then. One of like the worst painted ones, just to kind of keep it in line.
You're shit. You're gone. That's fair.
That's what I've been up to.
That reminds me, you crushing Lord of the Rings models reminds me. I did a bit in a video a long time ago when I made like funny skit videos where like I was microwaving a model, and I chose to do a Lord of the Rings model just to see what would happen if I put a model in the microwave for like, I don't know, like 2 minutes. And there were so many comments about how I was mistreating this poor little orc guy who like got all liquidy and stuff. But yeah,
wait,
that guy.
I've not watched the latest
series,
but
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
definitely.
assume so.
Yeah, it did.
Wow,
dude. We should try it with our children. We'll just put a kid in the microwave and see what happens. No, don't do that. No. When they've been a bit naughty, just stick them in for 20 seconds. Do you know what I mean? A little brain boil. No, don't do that. That's terrible advice. But wait, didn't they in Amazon? I've not watched the whole second series, but didn't they give like orcs like little kids in families now? Did you see that?
Yeah.
In the Amazon Prime, there's like they're killing all orcs. There's just like a woman with a little like baby orc. She's like, no, don't kill my orc
and the husband's
baby.
there, like his arms around them and stuff. Yeah. So
Rings of Power series.
Yeah. I hope you feel bad, Scott. That orc could have had a family, could have had kids at home, just working his 9 to 5, and he's stuck in the microwave.
He didn't really want to join the rebellion, but you know he felt like that was his only option to earn for his family. So
not that employable, I guess. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
No, exactly.
What his skill set is. Don't know.
He looks cool melting in the microwave, so that's something.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I won't have a go at you about it, Scott. I'll forgive you for that. To be fair.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you know what I do with my Lord of the Rings miniatures? This is gonna sound weird. It's nothing sexual. It's just I line them all up and let them watch me. No, I feel guilty when Theoden looks though. I've got loads of them, right? When I have like a pet that dies, I like to bury it with like a little model from Lord of the Rings. What about that?
Okay,
that's sweet. It's totally weird, obviously.
Yeah,
but like, I feel like
time capsule thing.
Yeah, I don't know what like religion that pet is. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, if he wants, it could have a Viking funeral, mix with some Lord of the Rings, set it on fire, whatever that is. So they just sort of go off, and there's like probably In 50 years' time, they're going to find 10 dead guinea pigs with an army of Rohan.
I was going to say, it's like a future archaeologist gonna unearth this and be like, what was this guy on? Like...
the aliens come down, they're like, what is all this shit going on here?
You're just covering your bases. That's what it is. Really.
Yeah, you never know, right? Yeah. So that's it. You know, if he wants to go to wherever Rohan men go, not the microwave, then he's all right. But what else are you up to, Benji? I know. I'm assuming it was a 40th birthday. Was it not?
It was,
on Saturday night?
a little 40th birthday. Went out for a few beers, and then we did kind of half discuss recording on Sunday morning, and then that was never going to happen, really.
Podcast,
so
yeah. We'll do it at 9 a.m. You're like, yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah. So that is 100% going to happen. But I drink so infrequently now that it was just like it was. I got way more hungover than I thought I was going to. So
yeah. I suspected that might happen. Scott.
But yeah.
Go on, hit us. We've not let you talk yet because we're we're us. But we're gonna let you talk now.
So,
yeah. What have you been up to the last Wait, I've seen you before we had a baby. Literally, you were one of the first few people who found out Kira was pregnant, actually, because we were on our way to you. And I was like, dude, just so you know, like, Kira's mega is pregnant now. So I've not seen you. So what have you been up to for the last 2 years?
The last 2 years, holy cow, a lot. I've always had this goal of having like painted armies for things, and I'm always getting closer to having a painted army for every game that like I would normally play. And so since I've seen you 2 years ago, I've finished a kill team, I finished a Necromunda squad, I finished an entire Age of Sigmar army, and I'm on my way to finishing an entire 40k army as well. So I don't even play these games that often, but I just love having a finished army or squad for every game that I could, conceivably play. So a lot of finishing of like gameplay stuff, less display model painting. Right now, I just finished Vargeists for my Spearhead Force for Age of Sigmar.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, lots of gaming related painting, I would say.
Because I think I've seen, actually, I know you've been doing the Drukhari, right, for about the last 9 years or whatever.
Oh my gosh,
on the table for. And then you did the video where you're like filing off all the wings. I'm thinking, dude, that's like mega project. But you've been cracking on with that. I did see in the last few videos. You've got a bit of help from the audience of battle, right? Turned up.
Yeah. He actually came over to my place. He lives in Wisconsin. I live in Minnesota, those are two neighboring states in the United States. And so he did about a 6-hour drive to get up here. And we did like 2 days of shooting where he helped me kind of like lower my standards essentially so I could paint faster. And it worked. We got done a lot of stuff really quickly.
So that's the advice. Awesome. Just paint shit.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain degree, I think there's a lot more you can get away with than a lot of people think, especially people like me who like came to the hobby through a display painting perspective. Like, I think there's a lot that you don't need to do that doesn't end up going noticed on the final product when it comes to a gaming figure. So a lot of it is just like letting go of unnecessary things, which is what that was mostly, going on.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I've seen there's been a bit of talk about that. I forget where else, but exactly. Like, I think when you're painting an army, you not every model needs to win a golden demon, right, or whatever. Just get the lads out there. Bases, faces, and I don't know. I'm talking about you're the painter, but that's kind of the way of it, right? Get things finished, get things playable, because that's the whole objective, isn't it? Really, I know you do a bit of shatter point. I think whenever maybe not long after I left you were shatter pointing away. Are you still shatter pointing?
Yes. So I haven't played a lot of miniature war games lately. I've been doing more board game stuff, but I think I can officially say that Shatterpoint is my favorite miniature war game. There are a lot of mini war games that satisfy like the tactical requirement for being an interesting game to play, and then Shatterpoint just has that extra spice of being Star Wars, and I freaking love Star Wars. And so like if the only thing that's separating these games is the theme, like between like say A Song of Ice and Fire, Guild Ball, which is more football based, and then Shatterpoint, which is Star Wars, I'm gonna go with the Star Wars. It's gonna beat sports every day of the week. So yeah, I think it's my favorite game for sure.
I think I'm actually with you. We've been talking more and more about games. I won't speak for I will speak for Benji. Benji loves Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Benji loves Lord of the Rings, right? Everyone who listens to this podcast knows that. Anyone who watches this channel knows that. And so, but I myself, I'm always in the shop. So when I'm working, I've got like obviously gaming tables upstairs and stuff, but when I'm in the shop, I can't go up there really. Do you know what I mean? I've got to man the shop, but I've got a table a little bit smaller, like demo table, but that fits Marvel Protocol, Shatterpoint, Skyrim, Fallout, and Kill Team, right? The smaller games. So I myself actually been playing quite a bit of Shatterpoint, and I love Star Wars. I have to say I'm learning to love it. It's I quite like the whole like the victory point system. Like the little tracker. What do you call it?
The struggle tracker?
Yeah, the struggle tracker. And you, I mean, that like how you sort of play best of 3 kind of job as well. I think it's really cool. I think it's a really smart game. And plus, like, I love all Jedi. So I don't know, they released a new Jedi set. And now I think I've figured out a list where everything can be a Jedi.
Oh, man. That'd be amazing.
I think it's like 8 Jedi. I think you can get on there now.
That'd be beautiful. I have an Inquisitor Force, which does particularly well against Jedi. So if you want to ever like match up a little bit and I can crush you, you know.
I'm flying back over there and no chance. So I've got Obi-Wan, I've got all the Jedi. I've got some shitty Jedi, some good ones. But that's the whole point. That's why I really love it. The Star Wars. I know we've got Andor, the new series of Andor coming soon as well, haven't we, actually?
We do.
Pretty excited. So yeah, and in fact it's May the 4th, isn't it, soon? Star Wars Day. So
it's coming up.
Yeah.
I might do a video for that next year because, by the time I've done this one, it'll be. But, wait, Benji, you've got an April Fool's lined up for next year.
April Fool's, yeah, absolutely.
Because you missed this one.
I finished it on the 2nd, so I've uploaded it and like preset it for next year. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. But yeah, no, cool. So you're just sort of finishing off Armies. Is there anything in particular? Is it the Drukhari that you're still working on now?
Yeah, so I probably have, I definitely have a full unit of Reaver jet bikes left. Like I have 15 that I want to paint for a total of 18. So that's a huge chunk that's still left. And then I need to finish up some Raiders and Ravagers that are over halfway done, but there are a few of those as well. And those are large vehicles. So some large things left, but easily over the halfway point. I mean, probably over the 3/4 point at this point. I'm shocked to discover how large 40K armies are. Like, they are significantly different than Age of Sigmar, which has a lot more big dudes that cost like 400 points. Like, I feel like in 40K, that kind of model is unheard of, like in a faction. And if it is, it's like an incredible thing. And so, yeah, a lot more figures in this army for sure.
I'm a little bit like that when not to give too much away, but we talk about Horus Heresy, Ollie, and the force that I'm painting at the moment. I was like, how many points will that be? And you're like, oh, it's about 1,000. So like, right, I need to paint twice what I'm painting now. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like,
games of Horus Heresy like 3,000 points as well. So,
yeah, exactly. That 3 times as much as I'm painting now. It's just crazy. And like, I think that's where, you've talked about shatter point and stuff. Like, you paint up a handful of models and that's it. It's Lord of the Rings, it can be anything from, I don't know, 5 to sort of 60 odd models, but most armies are kind of around the 30-40 model kind of count. And again, it doesn't
pretty
feel
good. That's pretty good.
It doesn't feel too like oppressive with the amount that you have to paint. So yeah, I'm very much on the smaller scale of stuff.
I've been trying to build an elite 40K, like a Crimson Fist list. That is all. I'm trying to put as many standards in there as I can, and many standard bearers in the list. Like, like there's a first company list, so it's like company heroes to everything's a veteran. So I'm trying to find as many standard bearers as I can to get in there. And even that, as a really elite list, is still like 60 models, and they're all like, it's all Stern Guard veterans, all captors, commanders. Everything's really detailed. So like, as a concept, I really like it, but in reality, like, that's going to be a hell of a paint job if I want to get it done nicely or just get it done. So maybe I'll just stick to like knights, because at least there's only like 5 of them. But it's tough. But again, that's why I'm liking the smaller games as well. I might just do a load of trees for Lord of the Rings or something, and just like
bang on, easy.
4 trees. Yeah,
easy. Yeah, that sounds good. Ollie, what have you been up? What have you been up
to? Today we had a mega day. So I'm normally pretty busy with YouTube and shop. I've got another YouTube video ready to go. I'm still waiting approval for an old one. I've got another one ready to go. And then I decided today was the day I got a couple of staff members in to help me blitz the back of the shop. The back of the shop is like near enough.
Your pile of shame.
It's probably about the size of the room you're in, Scott, thinking about it. Maybe something like that, maybe more. And that is like just covered in miniatures, like boards, miniatures, old YouTube projects, piles on the floor. Like, if I walk there, I'm stepping on something. It's pretty abysmal and it's pretty bad. So I decided I need to like maybe clean that or something. So I recently shot a pile of shame video. I've sold like 5 or 6 armies, just 'cause I'm finding that the whole concept of having like 30 armies just all like half done, like, is killing any joy I have. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I do one thing, I'm just constantly thinking I should do something else. I'm just trying to like remove stuff off the list by just getting rid of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good now. I can see the floor, so that's like, it's great.
I do feel like you kind of tidy that room every like 4 or 5 months or something, and just be like, I'm selling stuff, and like it just kind of keeps piling up again. And like,
well, yeah,
and when I visited, there was it was literally like it was like just a pile in the middle of the room, and like we were looking for bits. And it was just like walking around the pile, kind of like just hovering over it, looking for bits. It was like the ridiculous, massive pile of stuff.
I feel bad because like it's like the third time I've done it, and it's exactly that. Like I was chatting to James, one of the lads he works with, and I was like, he's like, oh yeah, he said, right, I'm putting everything in the place, and that's like, where it stays. It's like, yeah, definitely. Like, I'm just thinking like I'm at 2 a.m. and I'm trying to find something. That's all getting yeeted everywhere.
But I tell you what, the thing that really impressed me though is like, you knew where everything was in that pile. Like I was going around and I was like, oh, what about this? It's like, oh no, that goes with this army that I bought like 8 years ago that I'm blatantly never ever going to start, but it belongs with that.
I know what that Sisters of Battle Armies. Yeah, yeah. Kind of bad, really.
Yeah. But I feel like Ollie has a little bit of a competitive advantage over your typical like miniature hobbyist collector, just because of, I assume, the massive discount you have on product. Does that contribute to your collection?
Pretty much, right? So it's a mix of YouTube and shop. But YouTube, people send, oh yeah, I might send you something. I'm like, can't guarantee I'm going to use it, but sure, if you want to. They're like, no. I'm like, they don't have to. They're like, no, I will. I'm like, I'd rather you didn't because I don't want it in the pile, but sure. So do you know what I mean? They send stuff you like, stuff you buy, and then like stuff that just the masses. I've been in this for 30 odd years too, right? So there's like, I've recently went a bit mad last year buying stuff from the 90s because it's about the only thing I can't buy that's got a discount. So I figured, hey, why not blast a load of money into shit old stuff? So I've got a ridiculous, do you know what I mean? It's exactly that between YouTube, the shop, and personal hobby. It's
it builds up.
It builds up. So I decided actually, because I was thinking about that with the kid, and Anders is 1 now, and I was like, oh, what will he do with all this when I'm dead? I was like, probably nothing. So I might as well just get rid of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I've not looked at it in 6 years, I don't need it. So we did a pile of shame video, and I got Warmag to send me a load of boxes just because it needs to go somewhere. And I was like, right, this is all just got to go. I don't even like Tomb Kings. Why'd have a Tomb Kings army?
Dude, no one likes Tomb Kings, okay? Yeah. You can't convince me that anyone likes that faction for real.
I don't know. We did a video on it, and Kira described them as the Kinder Egg toys and got absolutely ripped apart by people. And I was like, I mean, you're not wrong. Like, the skeleton horses are shit, really, aren't they? Let's be honest. Even for old ones. So, yeah, I've been doing that. Usual parenting, no boozing, really. I've lost 5 kilos recently. Wow. Did a 5K run last week. We've got a bit of in our Patreon, we've got a bit of a health hammer thing going on, haven't we, right now?
Yeah, we have. So we've got we've started up a Strava group for the patrons as well. So there's like a bit of competition about people, between you and I in particular.
Yeah, but your quick runs, yeah.
But it's quite nice. Sort of people are sort of saying, "Oh, I've been for a walk and I recorded it. I've been for a run and recording it." And we can sort of see what each other have done, and it just kind of keeps us all on track, really, which has been really, really nice. And it's certainly got me like moving a lot more. It's like a bit like you, with kids and things. By the time you sit down in the evening, you just don't want to do anything. But now I've kind of got that little focus to go out and do it. So if you do want to join in on that, get in on the Patreon.
Smooth.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
let's be honest.
Nothing gets me running or like the idea of exercise for 50 minutes to get away from the kid. It's pretty tempting. I'm like, I've got to go for a run. How far are you running? 700 kilometers. How far are you away? All evening. And I'll bloody do 700 kilometers. So I mean, I think he's crying. I'm sorry. I've got to go for a run.
I need to go. Yeah. That's kind of my excuse now. It's like, oh, I've got diabetes. I've got to go to get exercise. I've got to go and exercise. So I've kind of got a legit reason to go and do it now.
That's why you're running so quickly. You put in a ridiculous 5K. You're like, oh, first run back, and you did like a ridiculous 5K run. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really getting there, guys. About a minute per kilometer slower than you. Like, but
there's less of me though.
Yeah, the diabetes is shriveling you away, but you're running quicker. Do you know what I mean? You might end 10 years younger, but you'll be there quicker. Actually, Scott, you're younger than us, aren't you? Are you?
Yeah,
I think you are.
Quite a bit.
I'm 33. Yeah.
Oh, not quite that much.
Yeah.
33. 33,
Yeah,
more successful and better looking.
Yeah.
What a prick.
Get fucking wrecked.
You look considerably younger than us as well.
Yeah.
Like, not that you've got just like 4 or 5 years on. It's like you genuinely look like a lot younger.
Wait.
Love this. Keep it coming, boys. Come on, let's go.
God damn it. Yeah, wait, am I older than you, Benjo? I forget. I am, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
Like
By about I think it's about a month or so. So yeah,
Oh, wow,
you're
super close though.
Yeah.
That makes me the oldest. That's depressing.
Yeah, I know. You're quite happy when we had Peachy on because Peachy was older than you.
Yeah,
so,
he's old as shit, so it's fine. Yeah, he's an old bastard. Yeah. Instead, we've got, God, don't bring these young, good-looking people on. This is the second time you've done that.
I know.
Yeah. And how's the podcast going on your end, Scott, as well? I know, obviously, you and Ninjon, Sir John, do Trapped Under Plastic. I can see Tra and Pla in the background there. So, there you go.
There it is. It follows me around. It's going great. I think me and John have both started to like take more of an interest in like the future of the podcast and where it's going. And I know for me as a content creator, that always helps me be more interested in like what I'm doing when like I start to like get into like the nitty gritty of the details and the numbers. It's like thinking about YouTube, like you think about a board game, right? Like if you're playing like a Euro style board game where you have like worker placement and resources you have to collect and buildings you have to build and tech you have to like research into, you want to think about like the best order of operations to like get the most success, like win the game. And so when you view YouTube like a game and like all of these different components, like different elements of that game, it tends to become quite enjoyable. And so we have a monthly meeting now where we like figure out the topics for our next episodes, but we have a lot of time in that meeting to then go into other things like what we want to do with the podcast to like maybe earn some more revenue, or like how we can like use or like reach different listeners on different platforms. And like, it's good. It feels good to like put energy into something and try out new things, get feedback, see it do well, see it do badly. I always kind of like languish whenever I just like let things just coast. And so it feels good to not coast.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, so you guys have been going for a couple of years now. Have you? It feels like it's a couple of years. Is it a couple of years?
Yeah. We're on season 5 or season 6. I can't remember what it is. And each season is 1 year long.
Jeez.
Wow. That's good going. That's good. We've still got a way to catch up then. Like,
yeah. just a bit, yeah.
Just a little bit.
We're like your podcast, but shitter and older. Surely Ninjon's older than me, right? Isn't he? Is John older than me?
He is about, I think, almost exactly 10 years older than me. So he's 43.
All right. Okay.
He looks young though, annoyingly, doesn't he?
He does. He looks super young. Yeah. People are often surprised when they hear that he's like a full 10 years older than me.
What a prick. He has a nice truck though, and he likes riding around in that thing. I think I went for a ride in his big truck.
Oh
yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Oh baby. Yeah. All right. Wait. What do we need to do? Wait. We're 20 minutes in and we've done nothing.
Okay.
Benji,
so should we
do the sponsor?
Should we do the shilling now? Should we get the shilling out of the way? Right.
This is the 4th time we've done this sponsor. The first 2 times, Benji got it completely wrong. So he literally got their name wrong and everything. So I've got it this time, right? I did the last time. No, you could get it right this last time. Vindication. Here we go, my friend. Go on then.
Right.
You can do it.
So, the sponsor for this episode is Fog of War Games, not to be confused with the popular website Frog of War Games, which I previously shilled on this channel. No, Fog of War Games, they are a UK-based wargaming shop that sells all sorts of historical miniatures, including things like paints from Tooth and Coat and products like Geek Gaming Scenics. It mostly focuses around, as I say, historical, so bolt action, black powder, and more, perfect for wargamers and collectors passionate about historical wargaming. They ship anywhere in the UK for just £3. And right now, get 10% off your order when you use the code SIDEQUEST, which is all in capitals. We'll pop that down in the description below. And then extra 5% off when you buy 2 or more items, which is automatically applied at checkout.
So you can get a whopping 15%, right?
Yes. So so it's great. So some of the things that I particularly like, the Victrix. I've got a bunch of Victrix Vikings, which are great for like a Dunland army or like a Wildmen army. You quite like sort of.
Give me them Saxons, lad. Give me
Saxons.
You
like that
killing
sort
the
of
Welsh
stuff.
and stuff, whatever you are. Welsh.
Yeah, whatever I am. Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah. So yeah, I think make sure that you do go and check out Fog of War Games.
That's amazing. So it's not Frog of War Games. It's not Fog of War Gaming. It's none of that. It's what is it again?
Don't put me on the spot. It's Fog of War Games.
Scott, what's the sponsor's name? Scott, can you get it right?
Fog of War Games.
You're in.
Easy.
That sounded like
Scott's in.
That sounded like a
wait. Yeah, you do it. You've got an American accent. To say something. Go get your miniatures from there. Wait, you've got to shill them, Scott, because you've got a different accent, and people will be like, oh, like that.
Wait,
go.
I have to do the ad read now?
Yeah, you got to do a bit now. Go on. Do 5 seconds. You can do it. You're pro.
All right. You can get 90% off at Fog of War Gaming with the coupon code SideQuest Podcast. If it doesn't work, take it up with them.
Yeah,
perfect. You've got a much better voice for this than I have. But you know what, Ollie, you probably put me on the spot there. Like I started to panic as soon as I started saying that.
I can see you sweating. The hairline was receding. The sweat was just...
hair just falling out in clumps.
Hair filters failing. Well done. So they're our sponsor. We have a European sponsor. It's me. Surprise. If you like buying miniatures, get them from broadswordwargaming.com. There you go. We ship all over the place. We haven't got an American sponsor, but we have an American, so that's good enough.
That's good enough.
Yeah. Wait, we wouldn't be able to get anything out of there anyway because of tariffs and stuff.
That's true.
Just because they fucked themselves. We don't talk about shit.
No kidding.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We won't get into that.
No. So go on. Right, we can move on to the real bit now. We've got to make Scott talk for the next 56 minutes.
I'm pretty good at talking, so.
Yeah, I remember. So, no, we're good. Okay.
So let's start, because we want to kind of discuss about like YouTube. That's kind of, don't get me wrong, Warhammer and Wargaming things, something that we have got in common, but also YouTube is something that we have got obviously massively in common. Some of us are obviously slightly like bigger than others. Some of us are kind of more prolific, in more ways than one. But, you know, and some of us are slightly more prolific in their video output than others, shall we say. But you, Scott, how long have you been doing YouTube now? It's got to be 7 or 8 years.
It's in the coming January, so a ways away. It'll be 10 years. So I'm in my 9th year right now.
So you started when you were 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I was an infant, basically. Yeah.
He came out with a camera like this. Oh, nice. This is birth.
I have been like dealing with cameras a lot. Like even before YouTube, I've always had an interest in like videography and stuff like that. Like I did a few weddings on the side before I did YouTube. I shot a few short films and stuff like that. I had a different YouTube channel that focused on video games before my hobby one. So yeah, this channel is not my first foray into the world of making video.
And I mean, like, you know, you've done pretty well out of it.
Thank you.
It's you know, you when I kind of came in, like I restarted Wargame again in 2016, which is like almost 10 years ago now. But I remember kind of, you know, watching a lot of your videos when I kind of came back into it, and obviously being incredibly impressed, and you know, picking up a lot of tips and things from you, because you know, I think back then like YouTube wasn't as polished as I think it is now. I think, you know, but you were kind of one of the more polished channels out there.
Thank you.
Would you agree? Like, you know, obviously you probably have maybe different memories of that time as a YouTuber.
Yeah, I remember when I was getting into it, the biggest channels were Dr. Faust's Painting Clinic, Tabletop Minions, and then Sarastro Painting.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Those guys are all still around today doing their thing. And at that time, I watch a lot of YouTube. I love YouTube. It's my main source of entertainment still to this day. And so I watched a lot of non-mini painting content from verticals that were far more advanced in their evolution on the platform. And so I just took a lot of their best practices and applied them to the hobby. And so I kind of just stole. And it worked great.
I think YouTube was a different layout so long ago as well. You know, the benchmark for huge was, you know, 100K was so rare back then, you know, like, and now, like, there's so many more channels out there, so many more channels. The quality is up. Even when I started, I'm on 6 years now. This will be 6 years for me. But you know, both Benji and I mean, you knew Luke as well, Scott, would be Luke from Geek Gaming or Luke's APS. He was kind of a huge starter for myself. And I know for you as well, Benji. you know, he was, again, like, he'd been around for a long time, probably similar to you, I'd imagine. Actually, I think he'd been 4 years when I started, so he'd probably be the same. Although it doesn't, you know, hasn't done it for the last year or two. But yeah, so there were so few channels putting out that sort of quality stuff, and like, it was always your camera work and things, I think, and the shot quality that stood you apart again. And you talk about Tabletop Minions. I mean, you know, he's been knocking around for a long time. Do you know what I mean? And there's so many mini wargaming that I can think that I used to watch all those years ago, and now there's so many, and you know, not to say anything below that. I mean, I'm not 100,000, but like, there's so many more channels there now, and the whole hobby has boomed, right? We've done episodes before on things like what's made it boom. We've had Space Marine 2, we've had all these things, Total War, Dawn of War, whatever. Everything now, Amazon series even, and everything that is, what would we have recently? The animated shows with the Space Marine anyway. Secret Lair, yeah. So like, all that, everything just booms. I get so many people coming to the shop now going, hey, you know, I've never played Warhammer, but I watch the lore. I watch, you know, listen to lore videos. I read stuff on Wikipedia. I want to play, and can I get a Titus model and stuff? So like, everybody's watching it now. So it just feels like the viewership is so much broader, and there's kind of a lot more room as well then for different types of channels, different types of presenters. You've got kind of the banter bat reps. You've got the sort of the funny folks. You've got the lore. You've got the
serious painters, you know? Like, you know, it's like, you know, I know you're very close to Vince Venturella, and like, you know, and like, you know, his painting is incredible, but it's a very different type of channel to what we do and what you do and things. So, you know, there is that kind of massive breadth of kind of a distribution of sort of channels, really. So over that time, what's I know we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but what's the kind of the key things that you've seen that has changed in that time?
Oh, man.
How do you think you have kind of evolved as a creator because of that?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest differences in content creation back then to now is, I think, honestly, the advent of TikTok and the feed that shows you what you're interested in, as opposed to the individual curating their own viewership, has really changed consumption patterns quite a bit. So like, if you go on Instagram, if you go on TikTok, if you go on Facebook, like, your feed is curated by the platform. It shows you what it thinks you're interested in. And same with YouTube. When you go to YouTube, the default tab is the home tab. It used to be the subscription tab like 5, 6, 7 years ago. But the companies have realized, hey, we can keep individuals captivated for longer on our platform, which is ultimately their goal, is watch time, if we show them what we think they like, as opposed to them doing it themselves. And so what this has put an emphasis on for content creation in general is getting clicks. The whole phrase, if they don't click, they don't watch, which is like a truth. And so there's a lot more focus on packaging, on overall idea of a video from start to finish, on who's going to watch that video, who the target audience of that idea is. I'm not even referring to like clickbait. I feel like clickbait is a really overused term, but like, I think packaging is definitely what people are really focusing on. Like, I'm Squidmar. I'm making a video for broad appeal. What appeals to the most people? Large projects. How are we going to intro this video? How are we going to like pace it? So we're getting a lot more professional, a lot better at kind of taking a video, giving it a nice bow tie, and like giving it to whatever audience we're trying to give it to. So I think that's a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, you're competing again, like much like you said there. You know, when I go onto YouTube, half the time I don't see the channels I've subscribed to, right?
Yeah.
Unless you go look for them. If a new video comes, I get videos, and if it doesn't do well, people don't even know it's there, and they're people who have subscribed to my channel who you would expect to watch it. What makes them click a video? Title, thumbnail, right? I can have the best video. If the thumbnail or title isn't good, no one will know. And then it's gone. You know, you get that 24, 48 hours. Occasionally I get one that, you know, a month later might spike up because some other channel has done something that's been, you know, I had a video with the Titan years ago. That's repeatedly done spikes when other people have done something on a Titan, right? Or whatever. So you're a little bit led sometimes by what else is popular. You know, we've gone through fads and phases over the years of 24-hour painting competitions to getting tournament ready to I mean, all these things, and they flows and it comes around again. But yeah, you're definitely competing with, not competing, that's not the word, you know, there's the viewership there for everybody, but you know, on a homepage, you need to have the reason to click your video over whatever else they recommended, right? And that is, I say, is the packaging. It's the face, it's the whatever that thumbnail is. I think I feel like I've been 6 years. I feel like it goes in phases. It comes round, you know, these things become popular again. But I feel like headshots right now are back in a bit more. The sort of the talking head that kind of disappeared for a while. I felt like, do you know what I mean? I felt like the talking head style disappeared, and it was all just about B-roll and talking over it. And then now people are back to a bit more character again.
Okay, kind of more like a video essay, where someone's talking about a topic, or still painting but having a lot of
just
face
still painting,
time.
but they're like interspersed with like bits of kind of face shots sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel like a couple of years ago that went away, and it just became B-roll. Hey, we're doing this, but it was a lot of B-roll and product doing something, and now I feel like they're sitting there talking for a little bit to introduce yourself, back to what you're doing, back to your head. Like, I mean, you do it, I do it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of come back into fashion again. Squidmar does it a lot, and got to think of the bigger channels out there like yourself that do these things. And I think that has a direction in what the rest of us do.
Sure, yeah. I think Eons of Battle also popularizes that quite a bit. Like, he'll be at his desk and he'll give you a quip in the moment, and then that will be interspersed with just VO of what he's doing, and so it's kind of like a little bit of a good mixture.
Somebody I always I love. I mean, I love Lachlan, Zorbs Up Lachlan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Lockie rules.
His stuff, his quality. I don't know how he does that, but he does a lot of the walking around doing something, but he does it as he's doing the project. So he must, I know he like plans videos out and whatever, but I never feel like I find the time to do that. And then by the time I would do that, I've already done what it is he was talking about. Do you know what I mean? Like, so he finds a good time to make that really natural, and he's got his high energy, he's excited, and he loves, but much like you said there, he loves stupidly massive things, right? He builds a board that's 7,000 square meters. Like, that's what he does, and that's his appeal. And whereas I feel like I'm a little more directionless at the moment. I feel like I've got Kira, I've got board builds, I've got things that I've done well previously. And I feel like over the years I've done like nostalgia stuff, and I feel like that's narrowing down, and some bits are disappearing that haven't done as well.
I think this is kind of one of my frustrations with YouTube, and obviously, Scott, you said it's all about kind of getting clicks. Like, YouTube kind of rewards you for doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's and the similar sort of style content, or and I don't know. I'm a bit of a butterfly. I'll be interested in one thing, and then I'll want to do something else, and then I'll do a shed build, and then I've filmed stuff, and I've been like, why the fuck did I bother filming that? Because that is never going to make a video that is going to be watched on my channel. Like, I built a workbench for like the other side of the garage and things. I was like, nobody on my channel is going to want to watch me build a workbench, because that's not what my channel isn't. Woodworking. My channel isn't like a shed channel as such. But it's like, I feel like you have to kind of, if something pops off, and this is what you see a lot of channels. Oh, my light's just gone off. I'll replace the battery in that in a sec. As soon as a video kind of pops off and does well for somebody, they're then almost kind of like forced into remaking that content over and over and over. And I think, Lockie to some extent is in that, like, he's made big, massive boards. They've done really, really well for him. And then he's just kind of like had to carry on making those massive boards, whether he wants to or not. And that's kind of one thing that really kind of bugs me, because I just want to hop around and do things. And thankfully my income and livelihood isn't from YouTube, because obviously doing one video every 2 years just wouldn't pay the bills. But and that's kind of why I'm a bit directionless and things. I don't really know what sort of content I want to make anymore.
Yeah, that's super fair. And I am right there with you, Benji. I am also a butterfly. I hate doing the same thing over and over and over again. And, I am jealous of content creators like, I don't know if you guys know who Boyle Hobby Time is.
I do indeed, actually. Yeah.
And it's like, he has an aesthetic. Like, he's going to do a big, cool diorama build each video, but it's going to change in subject matter, and he's going to use different techniques, and it's going to be interesting because there are new and fresh things being shown off. But like, at the very beginning of my channel, I called myself a miniature maniac because I love everything about the hobby. And I just happen to be pretty good at the painting part. And so my entire channel focused on that. But I love gaming. I love the background lore. I love conversion and sculpting. I think that's all such cool stuff. And I feel like I can't get into that too often, or else it's going to like cause my audience to rift a little bit. But I've been pretty encouraged in doing different things and still getting pretty decent viewership. And a super long time ago, I did carpentry, but it was like carpentry focused on the hobby. I made like a little travel case for paints, or a coffee table that was a board game table, or a painting desk like you would have made. And those did okay. But again, that was a different time in YouTube. But I don't know. I seem to be doing okay with having a broad category of the hobby and kind of maybe focusing on one area 80% of the time, and then experimenting 20% of the time with different things. So it's like, if you make 4 videos a month, maybe one of those videos can be like a weirdo thing, and then 4 can like kind of focus on what you think your core audience is. But I do know what you mean. It can feel a little soul sucking just to like just pile drive into like one format or one idea.
I think I fell into kind of just because I don't get as much time. Like on paper, I guess I'd be a full-time YouTuber, although that's not really true, right? I run the shop with the kid, and YouTube is the next thing. So as priorities have changed, like the shop is has to happen. That's the biggest overhead cost. That, do you know what I mean? I can't drop that ball. The kid, obviously, I can't really drop that either.
No,
can't microwave him really. Don't microwave the kids.
Oh, Jesus, we're back at that.
I just I'll drop that in there again. You know, don't microwave your kids, people. And so that leaves YouTube kind of in a third place. And Kira's still Twitch streams, so I might lose 2 evenings there. And then I share at the moment. It was a great idea to begin with, but as the shop's grown, I share my studio with this play space for the shop. So Saturday, Sundays are gone because that's events on. You know, people might book something out. I book my own space out. Monday is on paper. You know, we're closed Monday, Tuesday, so Monday is on paper a studio day, but really it's admin day because, you know, shops and orders and emails have to happen. So I find my time is very like split apart, which makes it very hard to like. It takes me half an hour at least to get into something. You know, if I'm like, I'm going to do something, I don't have the dead focus. I'm normally a bit tired, so I just sit around for half an hour, pissing around with something, and they go, right now I'll start. But at half an hour to an hour of my time has gone up a 3-hour time slot. I feel pretty pressured in the last 2 to do something. And Kira has been on my channel now for about the last 3 years, maybe more, 4. And that has been generally very successful. She's funny on camera. She's good at what she does. And but we don't have the time necessarily to get together to do those all the time. So that kind of direction is something I'd like to do more of, where we paint stuff together, but I don't have the ability to do that. So it leaves me now, when I do a video on my own, I just think, okay, this is probably just going to do shit. And then throw in like sponsors and stuff. You know, you might pick up a sponsor, a dedicated sponsor or something. Then that like changes your direction again, because you have to find a way to make something fit a little bit. So I really struggle, not so much with the general plan, but executing that plan. I think you said that at the start, Scott, was, you know, when you were talking about what you get to do with your podcast, is sit there, make a plan, and you get to, you know, see what's working, what's not, and refocus a lot. I think I remember you did a video a couple of months ago. It felt like a couple of months ago, I'm not sure when it was, when you were sort of talking before you started the Mondays, I think, and you were sort of talking about the channel and things that are interested you and what you wanted to do. And I feel like, did you take like feedback on board? Did you have
absolutely.
a plan all along? So I feel like you sort of readjusted then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it was a lot of feedback. It was impossible to read all of it. I even like wrote a little script with Python to like analyze like all the feedback so I could get better like data on like what the general consensus was on various things. But yeah, I definitely applied that feedback to my channel. But one thing that was really helpful for me as a YouTuber, it might be helpful for you guys, is you should just spend some time with an Excel spreadsheet and literally come up with 50 video titles, and then have a synopsis for all of those videos that describes what the gist of the video is going to be, and then categorize them by difficulty of execution: easy, medium, hard. And then I don't know if you struggle with this, but I feel like earlier in my YouTube career, when I was like making videos, I was like, oh, I have a sponsor coming up, I need to make a video for the sponsor. What should the video be about? Well, let's find something that's kind of vaguely related to the sponsor, and then I'll go with that. And then I felt like every single video, I was just like hustling and bustling, and I felt like nothing I was doing had like any real like I don't know, staying power and any direction. But once I made this list of video topics and ideas that are things for me, things that I'm interested in doing, and then I could just pick and choose. Okay, this month I have less time. We're going to do 3 easies and 1 medium. This month I'm not traveling and doing shows and stuff. I'll do 2 mediums, 1 difficult, 1 easy. And these are all things that I've already thought about, I'm interested in, that have a synopsis. And then at the start of each month, I'll just pick 4 new ones, and I'll kind of I'll go with that.
That's
but
awesome. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just great to have like some like direction, and also to spend time on ideation. I think that's incredibly important, because I said packaging is so important earlier, and that starts with having a great idea, which is supported by a great title and great thumbnail, and then like a whole flow. So just spend some time to really come up with like 5 ideas a day, put it in a spreadsheet, give it a synopsis, and give it a difficulty for execution.
Interesting. So I do 1/3 of that. I think I have a Google Docs list of video ideas, not even titles, right? That's it. So I go, right, I've got 30 ideas, and over the years, some of them just disappear because they're not relevant or not something I'm interested in anymore. And then I try and pick, like, how many times, Benji, do I say in a chat, okay, this month it's this, this, and this, and this. And you're like, and then by the end of the month, I'm going, right, it's just this, right? And sometimes that is true too, like you said there, about difficulty maybe of execution. Sometimes I think, right, I need to just do, like, I'm not getting the time to do enough videos. So taking on a video that's going to take me 150 hours to do and then edit isn't wise, right?
No.
When I should be doing one, like I actually did one the other week in a day, right? And like that actually felt really good. It felt productive. I felt like, you know what, I actually can still do this.
Great.
And like if I sit down and it was a little off topic, but it was part of in fact, with Boily Miniatures, did a collab with him and Bill makes stuff, and we did a load of robots and stuff. So I built a big robot out of an old chainsaw, like completely random for my audience. Obviously, I was like, dropped down, but I enjoyed the process. And I feel like that's what motivated me to do more again. So just being able to actually finish a video, edit it the next day, and be out, a 3-day turnaround is mental, because normally it takes me 2 weeks to film something. So I'm doing a half-hour segments. So certainly, I think you're right. Benji's actually a title master, I will say. Benji's wonderful at making titles. If I need a title, I go, here's my idea, Benji. You do your thing. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, right.
No, it's Warhammer is terrible. Like, this is better. But that works though, doesn't it? Like, essentially,
it does.
People don't like being told what to do either. So it's that's a good way of doing it.
That's the point. I think a synopsis, a title, a thumbnail, and a concept, right, and a difficulty rating. I think I'm going to adopt that as of today.
If you can't title an idea, just don't make it. If it doesn't have a title, it shouldn't be made, which is like a really depressing thing to say, but it's really true. If you can't framework it for YouTube, you shouldn't make it.
And that's exactly kind of, when I look at some of the stuff that I want to do, I'm just like, that's never going to make a good video. Like, I don't know, what would I do? What would I do as the title? What was to do as the thumbnail? And if neither of those are, doable, then I'm just like, right, I'm just not gonna do it. Like, what's the point?
What's one of those ideas?
Yeah. So just kind of, what was one of them?
Yeah. Let's workshop it right now.
No, it's things like, I wanted to paint like a bunch of Rohan Royal Guard. Now they're models that are 20 plus years old. They're not the nicest models to paint, but I just needed to get them kind of painted for my own kind of army, really. So it's like, how could I make that work as a video is always going to be quite tough.
Well, I think that is a feeling that a lot of people relate to, what you just said. Not only painting stuff that you're less excited about for your army because you need it for your army, but 2, also working with older stuff. And so I feel like a lot of YouTube works well if you can relate to your core audience and they feel like they're gaining value from you in some way. And so I feel like there's an idea somewhere in there, just with that brief little bit you told me.
Okay, that's interesting.
People definitely want, I think same with these podcasts. People relate to what we're saying, right? A lot of the time,
a little bit, yeah.
We're somewhere for people to watch something and go, do you know what? I know how that feels. I think we've had a lot of that with the podcast, particularly as we talk about kids quite a lot, and we talk about kind of how we feel.
But we
about
don't have any time.
I don't have any time, and they've ruined my life, right? We talk about that, but like not really. But I think a lot of people feel that same feeling and relate to that. And although it might not be spoken about very much, I like to think we can kind of be helpful to people in that kind of way. And I feel like YouTube is the same, whether it's nostalgia stuff and people love that and go, oh God, I'm old as well. I loved that model or whatever. I love that paint set, or whether it's board builds and people like the big stuff, they want to do that, but they don't got the space, the time to do that. So they like to watch that happen. Do you know what I mean? I feel like people can relate, or, I've got to paint 20 Royal Guards or whatever that might be, broaden it. I've got to paint 20 ship models for my army that I don't want to paint. So I often feel like if people can relate or feel something, generally I want people to feel positive stuff. YouTube does reward negative stuff a little bit sometimes. you know, I don't want people to go away feeling bad or angry, but that in itself is another aspect of social media, isn't it? I think, you know, it boosts engagement. So, but I'm sure all of us, or pretty much everybody I can think who has a channel, didn't start it. 90% of us didn't start it to do that, right? To create negative atmospheres, to inspire negative emotions. I'm pretty sure all of us here did it because we love it and we want to show that love and share that love with other people. So I suppose in trying to, I always try and include something like that in my videos. I always try and make my video positive, even if it's like, I'm shit, but don't worry if you're shit, because I'm shit and we'll be shit together sometimes. You know, like as a concept, I'm going to try using this. I've never used it before. It doesn't work for me either, but hey, don't worry about it. Like a static grass applicator, whatever. Kira did one. She's like, I don't know how this works. You know,
let's do it anyway.
We'll do it together. Yeah. So often I quite enjoy that kind of content. I enjoy, you know, stuff that makes you feel, you know, sigh in a nice way.
Absolutely.
Sort of enjoyment. So I remember it's going back a few years now, Scott. You did like a series of videos over like 5 days where you almost did like a video a day, like almost like a diary. Is your workflow kind of was that you know, obviously it was very much giving an insight into kind of how you you know, you make videos and stuff as well. Like is your workflow roughly the same as that these days, or you know, is that kind of changed or?
It changed when I did the Dark Eldar videos. So I have been messing around with the idea of employing an editor for a very long time. And I have kind of believed the idea that I couldn't work with an editor very well because my process is very, I don't know, it's kind of all over the place. Like I'll throw things into an edit, I'll go and film some more stuff, I'll put it in the timeline, see how it works, decide I need something else, move things around. I'm very kind of all over the place. But in order to be able to paint for essentially 8 weeks straight, like all 5 days of the week I dedicated to painting, I needed to have an editor. And so I needed to kind of like make my process more structured and standardized. And so it's working out great with the editor. I'm working with Hattie actually.
Okay.
Excellent.
And she does great. And basically like if you're in a crunch situation, like I've discovered for myself that I will just make it work. I have to make it work. Otherwise the videos won't come out. And so I just like gave her all my footage, and the first experience was bad. And like I had to edit for like, I think 5 hours after she gave it a shot to finish it. But every single time we do it, it becomes more standardized and she gets better and better and better. I think the last one I probably edited for an hour and a half, which is like amazing. Like I would edit a video for like seriously 20, 25 hours. And so to gain all that time back to put into the YouTube channel is amazing. So yeah, it's changed a little bit, but just more standardized. So it's like the format doesn't change as often. The shooting style doesn't change as often, and it makes it easier for someone who's not me to kind of like follow what's going on. But it's largely the same. I'll have an idea that guides the video. Will go and do the artistic thing that the video is about. I'll write an intro after the fact. I don't script the whole video anymore. Like I will record the voiceover while I'm painting. So if I'll do a step, I'll hold up a little card that says A1, and then I'll record it in my mic. And I'll say A1. Here's what I did. And then I'll like do the next step. I'll say A2. And then when I go from like the conversion to the painting, it'll be B1, B2. And so Hattie can follow what I'm doing. She knows what VO goes with what footage. And then I don't write a script at the end of the video because I could spend a whole day writing a script, and now it's just like not worth my time. And so I'll write an intro and an outro. I'll film that in like, I don't know, like maybe 2 hours, like max. Give her all that stuff, and then she'll just kind of put it all together. So it's a bit more standardized.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think we all, I know, again, Lockton's not here, but I know he has dabbled with editors as well himself, and I think found it to be a largely successful process. I know Luke did as well, but feel like they had very much the same teething issues you had. And I feel much like you said there, I film totally random. Do you know what I mean? I have an idea. I'm going to do this bit because that's the time this allocates for. Come back, bang it in the edit. Okay, get some more. Missed a shot. Grab that. Right, mine can be all over the place. Yes, it's, you know, I've got like intro part 1, if there's a part 2 short, and then I've got painting 1, base, whatever. And so I have like 10 different times I might shoot a video. And I will always script an intro. I tend to do a hello with the camera. Then there'll be a bit of B-roll or something. And that's kind of me getting the point of the video across, right? Because if I leave myself to do that to the camera, I'll miss something, or I'll say something, and that gets misconstrued to whatever. Do you know what I mean? And whereas if I've got a script and, you know, a 60-second B-roll slot, I know I can say, okay, this video we're doing this, blah blah blah, and I can get all the key information in there, and then I'll tend to do a headshot outro, and kind of do all the B-roll and any other bits and insert post-video headshots where they're needed, or like an intro after the fact as well. And then do the voiceover. I don't script the whole of a voiceover. I might put ideas down just so I don't forget any key points, because I've done that previously where you put in a video out and you go, oh, I didn't actually say like the thing that I meant to say because I kind of did it ad lib, or I said something I didn't really mean. You know, people go, oh, you said primary color. I said, yes, I did say primary. I'm aware, like whatever. I meant like main color. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very easy for people then to go, you said purple's a primary color. What an idiot. I'm like, I didn't mean primary. I meant like primary to the miniature. But so I try not to do that as often. It still happens. Like, so yeah, but
it's crazy sort of how everybody kind of works differently, because I'll just tend to sort of film things from kind of start to finish. I'll kind of record like little bits to the camera occasionally if I'm feeling up to it, and like you guys are kind of very extrovert, whereas I'm very much more introvert, and I don't necessarily feel comfortable talking to the camera without having like some sort of script or something to say. Whereas I think you guys could like genuinely just make a video without needing to like script anything. Whereas I script absolutely everything, and what I do then is I'll put it on a teleprompter and I'll read out my entire script. And the headshot. So if I haven't got a shot for something, I could just be talking to the camera at that point. So it just makes my workflow slightly easier and works better for me personally. But it's, you know, obviously everybody works slightly differently, but you know, when you've got editors and stuff, I don't think that would necessarily work quite as well, maybe.
I mean, you don't like unscripted content, so you decided to start a podcast?
Yeah, it's a great idea. I don't do unscripted content because I say stuff. So just try not to get myself cancelled every week. That's my main goal, this podcast.
I know, this is slightly different. I think I don't think what we do now would do particularly well as shorter form content, perhaps.
Do you mean videos or podcasts? Sorry.
Yeah, no, but I don't think the way we do the podcast would work as a shorter video. I don't feel like there's enough maybe energy, and like this is the sort of thing that the reason I wanted to sort of start this podcast is, you know, I listen to podcasts in the car when I'm driving, and you know, it's not necessarily about kind of what's on the screen in front of me and like people being all energetic. It's about people kind of just talking about what they're interested in and things. So for me, it's a different medium. It's a different type of content.
I think we started the podcast just for like a reason to. I think we started this, when I was like the midst of like the dark days of the baby. So I think we kind of found as an excuse. It's so bad, man. Having a baby is so bad. I think it was about 6 months in, and I was like, dude, like I need to like talk to somebody. Do you know what I mean? It became like therapy. There's only so many times I can listen to Streets of Whiterun by Skyrim music on my Spotify to like stop myself going mental. So this kind of became our way to keep contact, right? Because I live out in the west of Ireland, in the middle of nowhere, where, you know, we're pretty limited. Sure, there's people in the shop. I don't mean that, but like friends and stuff are in the UK or so yeah, I found it's a good excuse. I mean, we talk every day anyway by
we do by messenger and stuff. Because you never pick up the phone when I call you. Like
never, I will never pick up the phone.
Who calls anyone, Benji? What are you doing?
Scott, like,
I know it's because we're old. Like, you know.
That's what it is.
I get that millennial scare. You see the phone, you're like, oh god, the phone's ringing.
But also,
I don't want to deal with it. Anxiety.
There's two times when I kind of normally ring you. It's when I'm like walking with the baby to try and get him to sleep. This is like before, when he was a little baby. Or when I'm I do a lot of driving with work. I'm in sales, so I kind of do a lot of driving. So I have time to kill. So that's why I call you.
You like to ring me at 5:05 when I'm just closing the shop, or or 11:02 when I'm just opening it.
I kind of know that you'll be closing the shop, so there won't be any customers around and stuff. You know,
they always hang about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I remember you actually calling me walking the baby all the time. I'm like, oh, Benji must be walking the baby because he's calling me. And then you're like, I'm just out walking the baby, mate. I'm like, what are you doing, you idiot? And now all I do is walk the baby.
Yeah.
I'm you. It's interesting, but I think one of the events actually at first I met you, Scott, actually would have been the Horus Heresy event 3 years ago. Now it is 3 years ago, literally.
Yeah.
Now, how things have changed. And I met you there, and then I came over and stayed with you. Not last October, the October before, right?
Yeah.
So that would have been 18 months ago, ish, and you know, we did some stuff over there. How do you feel? Like, I felt that event, regardless of anything else, was good for me to meet other people, other creators, right? I always felt a little bit like, you know, you're battling on your own and it's always you and everyone else, you know, has their agendas and these own things. But all I really learned from that is that all of us are pretty much just the same.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I mean,
yeah.
Like, I found that aspect really interesting. And do you still find now, like, you know, obviously you're at Adepticon, I'm assuming, were you at Adepticon? It's only like down the road from you, right?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, and like that same experience there as well. Like, you know, do you find like you're just meeting people and everyone's just chilling and having a chat? Like, how do you find that scene has changed over the years? I mean, 10 years ago there was less YouTubers or whatever, right? Has it always been like it's so broad now? It's like its own community, you know, of creators and painters and whatever outside of everything else. And like, have you found that's like something that like enthuses you? Do you come back away from that feeling like, yeah, like hobby?
Yeah. That's an interesting question. So I think earlier Benji said that I was an extrovert, and I don't know if I'm exactly an extrovert. I can be animated on camera, and it is good to be animated and energetic on camera. I think people can feel that energy. But those events for me are tough because it's tough to be animated and energetic all the time. Like, you know, you kind of want to be the energetic version of yourself people see on camera, and people come up to you and talk to you and ask you about questions and stuff, and it's difficult to be like that all the time. But specifically with other content creators, it's the same, and it's also a little bit different. There's so many more of them, and there's so much more conversation to have and different experiences. But a lot of people are kind of going through the same motions and having similar like trials and tribulations as they've always had. As I'm assuming YouTubers have had since like it was a career like all a time ago. And so there's a lot of similar issues, a lot of similar conversations going on. But now the people that are at the top are like more professional. Like I just learned the other day that Squidmar has 8 employees on staff, which is just like insane. Like that he's come that far, and he has such a large team behind him. And in order to manage all those people, he has had to like, you know, do things in a more professional and like kind of you know, less kind of like small business owner, single person doing it all by themselves kind of vibe. Like he has processes, he has people that are in charge of very specific roles. And so, yeah, I think there's a lot that's the same. A lot of, you know, issues being addressed are the same, but also we're kind of like delving into new frontiers now with like bigger and like more expensive productions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's like, even yourself, right? You've got, you're now working with an editor, you know, and that's an expansion. It's always a step. And all of these things, even to talk for myself from the shop, it's the same way now. I think there's now 4 of us, as well as myself and Kira, but 2 others. And like, it's getting to the point now where like my time in the shop is spent organizing other people's time. Do you know what I mean? Like, so 3 days of the week, someone else is in there, right? So I started the shop and the channel to be, I just want to paint stuff, and to start the shop, I'll sit there and sell stuff. And the shop is 4 years old now, right? I don't sit there and do that now, really. No. Right? If I'm sat there, I'm just sat there as an excuse to do a load of admin for 8 hours. All I did today was sit there at the till from like 11 to 5:30. Sure, customers are coming in, but really I'm just doing emails, admin, orders, trying to expand, working on the business rather than in it. And I think that it's interesting that YouTubers come to that same point where you have that jumping point again. We go, right, I just need an editor now. It just has to happen because you can't do everything forever all on your own, you know? And I think that's similar for a lot of businesses. So yeah, YouTube haven't become that like bigger professional studios. People, you know, Squidmar, really, it's a studio at this point, isn't it? It's not just Emil anymore. It's him and a whole team of people, and like yourself. And then there's Benji and I, who just, you know, Benji just sits in his shed, and I sit in my kitchen wearing my Christmas trousers. Do you know what I mean? I just got these lads on. How professional is that?
Hey man, you can't see the legs. You're good to go. You know?
Yeah, you've got no pants.
At least you're wearing trousers.
No one knows.
And then just kind of, you know, one question that I've kind of got, you know, we're in the last sort of 2-3 years, the change towards kind of short form, like really short form content, like, you know, under a minute and things, as you know, it's exploded. Like, how have you kind of changed? Have you adapted, and you kind of like following that trend and making more short form content now than previously?
I've probably made like 4 shorts in my entire career. So to the question of have I adopted that? No, I don't think I have, unfortunately. I do think it's a good thing. I think like a lot of people talk about businesses and talk about pipelines, where it's like you have this funnel, right? Where you have a wide opening at the top, and it's like, like if I want to get someone to buy my product, I'm going to sell them a free thing, which gets them on a mailing list, and now they're in my pipeline, right? And so then I'm going to sell them a $5 thing, and now a $20 thing, okay, now a $100 thing, and I think shorts are the virtual version of that. That's the top of the pipeline for a lot of content creators. Discovery happens with shorts, and maybe less so videos, but still with videos. And then once they're in your pipeline, once they're interested in your content, then you start getting their long form content in your recommended, on your home tab. And now you're in the long form, and now maybe you discover a podcast, So it's like, I think shorts are like kind of the tip of the spear when it comes to discovery for a YouTuber. So it is an important thing. But I think, like with videos, I think my strategy of just taking clips from a video and making a short out of it as kind of a montage isn't the best strategy. I feel like the best strategy is to treat shorts like their own thing, and to like make an interesting minute-long video about a topic that takes a minute to go over, and like it's its own whole thing. It's like, if I want to talk about airbrushing, like what's the most important thing to know about an airbrush? Okay, it's the relationship between how thick the paint is and your PSI. And I can make a video just about that one topic, and it can be really tight and interesting, and people might go watch my longer airbrush videos. So I think it's a great thing to do. But right now, I'm just trying to figure out how to like work with an editor to finish my main videos. And then when I figure that out and I become an adult, then I can move over to like doing shorts and things like that.
Yeah, I think Benji and I talk every week about going, right, this week we're gonna do shorts. We're gonna do shorts this week. Yeah, definitely right. I've got this big video. I'm gonna do 2 shorts to support every video now, because I don't get much time to do videos.
2 shorts, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But then I'll just spend all my time doing 2 shorts and not do a video. So it's like, even trying to do like hacking videos apart, going, right, there's got to be an interesting like 20 seconds in this video of me doing something. But even that takes me an hour, right?
Yeah, and then that's fast.
And then I'm right. An hour, whatever. And then I go, okay, but now I've done 2 of them. Now that's like my 2-hour filming time slot gone. Now I've got to wait till tomorrow to start my next video. So then what's like, I do think we should, in this day and age, be doing reels and shorts, like and TikToks, right? Like Kira is very successful on that side of the platform. She doesn't do long form content, really. She does Twitch streams, but she then has built up an audience on Instagram and TikTok and Twitch from shorts, and that can be, but even doing them specifically to do something, and that video might only be 15 seconds, can still take an hour, 2 hours, right? Not in the editing side, but in doing it, coming up with the concept, filming the concept, And so like, do I have the time to diversify into that? No. Should I be doing that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, much like you say, you're working with an editor, like it's time, isn't it? It's all time management, I think.
Yeah.
And had I the ability to do all shorts, long form videos, and the shop and the kid, then great. I'd be doing awesome. But I just need like 3 more me's. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to breed my own me's now. Is the plan.
Cloning
you know what I mean?
facility,
well, I need that. I need the Clone Wars.
The thing. We've spoken about it before, but like, my biggest barrier to making anything is just like, literally, I have to work between 9 and 11 o'clock at night. That's the kind of the 2 hours that I get, because if I work later than that, I'm going to be exhausted the next day, and I can't do my day job. And it's trying to sort of, when it gets to that time of night as well, it's like, fuck, I've worked all day. I've now got to go and do what is not necessarily work, because I enjoy it, but it's like, sometimes I just want to sit and not do anything for that last 2 hours of the day before I go to bed. So that's kind of my biggest barrier. Obviously I don't think that applies to you, because you're in the fortunate position of being able to do it full time, but you will have I'm sure similar sorts of stresses and things that kind of impact on you. I'm quite conscious that we are short of time now, so we have got some questions from our patrons, if you don't mind asking.
Let's do it.
Answering some of those. So Paint on a 4 up. What's your biggest hobby win in your opinion, and why?
It's mean like painting specifically, or is it meant to be generic?
I think generic, because his next one is kind of, I guess, related to it. But do you have any kind of big wins that you thought, oh my god, that was the best thing I've ever done? Or
oh man, I really look back to my Necromunda warband with a lot of pride, just because I've always wanted to make a more converted, more aesthetically like specific group of individuals. I see a lot of people doing that where they make an awesome little war band of heavily converted things. And I didn't like heavily converted that much, but I did do more than I normally do. And I think that just came together really nicely. And I look back on that fondly.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. And
have you got one, Benji? Have you got a hobby win?
Oh, I'm looking at all my stuff here. No, I haven't.
Never won.
Just never won. Just grinding. Everything is just grind. I can't think of anything kind of specifically. I think just getting back into the hobby for me was just like a huge thing. Like, you know, it's a source of massive enjoyment for me, and you know, there isn't like any one thing in particular I was like, oh my god, that was the best thing I've ever done. It's just I just generally enjoy painting.
I wonder if there's been a difference I've noticed a difference in you in treating YouTube differently to how you did 6 months ago. I think when you were pushing YouTube, I think you took away your enjoyment a little bit. And I think now,
totally,
since I've known you, I think you've enjoyed your hobby more now than you did 6 months ago.
Absolutely. And it's because I'm, you know, I've kind of come to the conclusion I'm not going to ever probably do content full time, so I may as well just do it as and when I want to do it. You know, if I've got a video that I feel like I really want to do, I can do that. Yeah, so that makes my kind of attitude towards it has just sort of changed a little bit. But this isn't about me. This is about Scott. So, you know.
Well, Scott, do you ever feel, just on the side quest, do you ever feel like making videos? I feel like maybe the word content isn't always the right word to use. Making videos or art or whatever. Do you ever feel like that pressure to do more, like, really detracts? Have you still lost the hobby joy a bit?
Yeah, I think at one point I lost it. Yeah, I lost it probably like around 2021 or 22. And so doing my job has become trying to figure out what I really, really enjoy doing and just doing that. I think the thing about doing this as a job is a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want your time. Like you guys, you wanted my time. You wanted an hour and a half of my time, which is totally fine. And I'm excited to do it. And so I said yes. But there are a lot of opportunities that maybe you're not excited to do. And early on, it feels like you should be doing them because you want to develop these relationships. You want to be in people's good graces. You want to maybe get money from a sponsorship. But the more people that you just loan your time out to, suddenly the more this begins to feel like a job. And it's not just like sponsorships and stuff like that. It's like ideas too. It's like, oh, I feel like I need to paint this thing because it'll be more relevant. And so I'm going to paint that thing because it'll make a great video, but I'm not passionate about it. And so the more you do that, the more you erode away this like barrier between work and hobby. And so what I've learned to do is just focus as much as I can on doing exactly what I want to do within reason. I'm not going to make like a video about like how to do clown makeup, but like just exactly what I want to do. And to say no to people, learning how to say no to people is probably the most painful thing to do because you don't want to disappoint people, but also at the same time, you're in charge of making sure you can do this for the long haul. You know, YouTube is not flash in the pan. You do it for a year and then you coast for 40, you know, it's like, how do you make YouTube videos for 40 years, you know? And I think it has to be, you enjoy what you do. So you have to very carefully curate that.
Scott, talking to you fills me with so many ideas. Actually, you know what I mean? Good. I meant for this year or last year to be the year. I said the year of no is what I meant to say.
Yes,
this is the year of no.
I mean, no.
Like if people want my time, but much like you said there, I think I say no to half as many things as I should. But like you say, you know, you feel like it's an opportunity. You feel like it's something you should do. Where there's a sponsorship, and then I did a sponsorship recently where like I didn't really want to do it, but like I felt I had to.
Yeah,
financially.
I've been there.
But like it has not only a negative impact on maybe just what I'm doing then, but also like how you feel. Or then I've done a video where I'm like, okay, this will be easy, and it isn't easy, and it's ended up being longer and more difficult and something I wish I hadn't done. Do you know what I mean? And so I think you're right. I think saying no, like my time is so limited. All our time is so limited. Like to waste a week or whatever on something you just, and do that 3 out of 4 weeks is how I feel like I'm at. I feel like every video is just like a sponsor and that's it. But like, it's not allowing, I feel like completely burnt out. That's why I'm not doing a lot. Yeah. I feel like I'm just like, nothing excites me.
Yeah. The audience can feel that, you know, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Another one from Paints on a Footer Up. If you could only paint or play for the rest of your life, which would you pick?
Ooh. I would say probably painting, because that only has to do with my schedule. Like I can paint whenever I want. So like gaming often, well, not actually, that's kind of changing a little bit, but for the most part, gaming relies on you being able to schedule something with someone else. So their availability matters, where they can go matters. But with painting, I can do it whenever I want, at any time of day. If I can paint at 3 in the morning if I want to, or at 5 in the morning when I wake up. Like it doesn't really matter. So I say painting because of that freedom.
Yeah,
Freedom!
that makes sense. Freedom. Yeah, absolutely. And this is a question that we kind of ask all our guests, but Just Make Stuff has asked, what are your desert island paints? Have you got any like paints that you will always go to that you tend to use in kind of most projects in one way or another? We've discussed it before. Things like Rakarth Flesh just seem to be used on everything for me.
We had Callum on, who's the studio painter for Modifius, and
okay.
he said Thundia Brown is the paint he says he like that. He loves all the Tooth and Coast, but Thundia Brown by Citadel is a paint he says he loves.
Oh, okay.
So like, have you got one like that? You know, a paint you're like, I just, any excuse to use it.
Yeah, I have had scale 75 paints for so many years, and so they've just stayed on my shelf, and I've kind of learned to use them and enjoy them. And one color I use a lot from them is sandalwood. It's actually a species of wood, but it looks a lot like a Caucasian skin tone, but it's different and it's special and unique. And so I always reach for that whenever I'm doing like a Caucasian subject. But also from that range, I love the color deep blue, and also brown leather. Those are both great shadow colors. One's warm, one's very cold. But they're great for mixing shadow colors with various midtones. So I use those colors a lot, actually.
Perfect. Just Make Stuff also asked, if the algorithm didn't ultimately pay your bills, how would your content change and what would you create?
It would be a lot more random. I would move around a lot. I would do a lot of weird things. I'd make a prop. I'd make a video about game development. I'd make a video about conversion. I would paint something. It would be a lot of just diversity, probably. Yeah.
Sounds cool. Sounds cool.
I know you. I remember I think you're quite a film folk, right? You're a film buff, much like myself. I think we watched a couple of films when we were over there.
Yeah.
I could watch you talk about films.
Oh, thank you.
Miniacs movies, and there you go. Tonight we're watching. What did we watch? What was the horror film we watched?
I can't remember.
Got all the heads in the shed at the end or something. There's like.
Did we watch Hereditary?
Hereditary.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, I can hear Kira in the background. Did you say Hereditary, Kira? Yeah, Kira's there. She's like, Hereditary. She's in the living room. I'm in the kitchen. Yeah, we watched Hereditary. I don't think I'd ever watched that before. Just a load of like heads and stuff. That was pretty weird.
I actually thought of a way. So I love to combine my interests with YouTube, and so I love movies, like you just said. And one idea I had for like combining movies with my channel was there's this old Space Marine animated movie. I don't know if you guys have heard about it or seen it, but I would love to watch that and do like a 10-minute review of just that movie. Because I don't know, but I've heard that it's awful, and I can shit on a movie like really well.
How old are you talking? Which Space Marine movie are you talking about here?
It's like 10, 15 years
the one like
old,
15 years ago or something? Or do you mean like the really, really old? There's like a really old like intro clips and stuff from all the old Space Op. They did a Space Marine movie about 20 years ago, I think now.
I think it's probably that one. I don't know. My friend had it on DVD, and so I was like obsessed with that idea of reviewing it. And so that one I'll try to do, but I don't know which one it is exactly. I'll have to look.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. I think it was that one. Yeah,
okay. It's a feature-length film. It's like a full thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but before like Games Workshop or whatever, we're good at doing that. Yeah. I remember this when I started playing. They did like all the old games like the first Space Hulk and Dark Omen. I think Final Liberation won awards for like its cutscenes, a bit like the old Red Alert 2 and stuff like that. It had loads of cutscenes and stuff, and these orcs like. But it was all acted out, like with weird camera like settings and stuff.
Really,
real actors and stuff.
Real actors. Oh, okay.
Yeah, real actors and stuff. I think was it Brian May or someone? Was it Brian May? Did the guitar for like the original Space Hulk game and stuff as well. I think it's Brian May, someone like that. Did the lead guitar riffs and stuff for it. Mate, old games is where you'll find like cool, weird old acting scenes, a bit like the cutscenes and stuff. So that's always I love that. I love like old shit. Yeah. So that'd be such an interesting topic. Yeah, do it as a video.
Okay.
I want to
please
just
do.
For me.
Definitely watch that.
You'll get one view, and that'll be me. I'll go good video, thumbs down. Slag you off.
And then last question from Just Mate Stuff. When do we get a road trip video of you and Jay from Aeons of Battle? The bromance there is strong, and the people need more of it.
Okay. I mean, I like that idea. So he lives basically where my family lives in Wisconsin, and so I mean, I could visit him pretty often whenever I go home to visit my family. But he asked a question about where would we road trip to. So it's like me and Jay driving somewhere. So I don't know where would we drive? Maybe to Gen Con or something like that, some destination.
Disneyland.
Disneyland.
I guess
I could see you hand in hand around Disneyland going, oh, painted miniatures, sat on the
me and my son, you know, he's like, sorry, Jay.
Yeah. And then we have a non-hobby question, which is, which band or albums got you into metal? And are you metal all the way, or do you listen to other stuff?
So I think being married to my wife has made me much more like into all sorts of other music, and I'm definitely into it, and I appreciate that diversity that she brought to my musical palette. But before that, it was just all metal all the time, and I wouldn't listen to anything else that wasn't that. But the bands that got me into the genres that I like, so I like thrash metal. That was originally like your standard Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Overkill, like those kinds of bands. And then I also got really into death metal, and that was mostly Born of Osiris, Black Dahlia Murder, stuff like that. And then bands like August Burns Red, For Today. And that's kind of mostly it. I'm mostly into thrash metal and death metal, those two genres the most.
Do you still listen to the same music you listened to like when you were 16 now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
My Spotify list is just the same band. Like, I've been listening to it for 30 years.
I did enough work to build the playlist, okay? Now I'm just going to enjoy it, okay?
Yeah, I'm not listening. Have you heard this new band? No, and I don't want to hear it. Exactly. They're really good. I don't care.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And have you, the very, very last question, have you heard of Sharp?
Sharp?
The TV series with Sean Bean.
Sharp.
With Sean Bean? No, I haven't.
No, all right.
It's
basically, this came about when we had Peachy on. Basically, Ollie and Peachy just started talking about Sharp for, I'd say, a good half an hour out of the hour and a half, 2 hour podcast.
You've never seen it,
and I was just sat here like. One of the patrons, Patron of 4 wants to know if you'd heard of Sharp and what you thought of it. So, in all honesty, I'm quite glad that you've not watched it.
you were literally just sat there like, and we're like, oh, yeah, doing all these quotes. You're like, so guys, next question. And I was like, wait, doing more quotes.
Not even quotes. It became impressions in the end, and one of the impressions was just this.
Yeah, one of the guys just goes, oh. Just doing that on the mic for like 20 minutes.
Wow, amazing show.
so yeah, basically, I just wanted to make sure that we wanted to kind of get your view on it, and ideally, kind of try and avoid a repeat of that.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, if it helps, I can do it all on my own, guys.
Okay.
I don't need either of you to do. I'll do the right. The opening shot. Opening shot, Wellington. It's 1812.
So I haven't seen Sharp, but what I have seen that reminds me of Sharp, just looking it up real quickly, is a series called, I think it's called Hornblower, and it has to do,
I knew you'd say Hornblower.
Yeah. So I've seen all those movies, and I love them. They're amazing.
Go and watch Sharp then. If you love Hornblower, Hornblower is basically Sharp on a ship, right?
Well, Hornblower is on a ship. What do you mean it's on land?
Yeah, Sharp is basically the same as Hornblower, except Sharp is on land. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, yeah,
Do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Perfect.
It's like the exact same show.
Okay,
but they go,
wonderful.
Oh, we did that on a boat. Let's try that on land.
Okay, good. All right, yeah, I'll watch it for sure.
I think Sharp was first, but yeah, it's brilliant. Sean Bean at his best. He's rugged and he's northern, and you won't understand his accent, and he's sexy, and that's
Wait,
what the
so
ladies
is northern Scouse? Would that be a northern accent?
Yeah, close-ish. Yeah, like that. Honestly, there's
bastard. You bastard. Talks like that a lot.
He talks like Luke from Luke's APS.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He's literally the same as Luke.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. And so if you can understand half of Luke, you can understand. Yeah, you could understand Sean Bean. I mean, Benji, you're in the north, but you're not a real northerner.
I'm not a real northerner. I've got a bastardized accent from all sorts of places.
You're a Welshie. I'm Irish
Welsh,
now,
so.
apparently. I think so.
Yeah.
Don't sound very Irish, but
You're definitely not.
Oh, Jesus, now, Durden. There's a lot to that. Have we got 3 Lucky Charms? That's terrible. I'm so sorry, Kira.
Oh no, the Lucky Charms.
We were the second most listened to hobby podcast in Ireland, and I think we've just dropped off
Yeah,
that now. Like,
yeah.
Who was the most listened to?
I have no idea. No idea. We need to hunt them down and
we're Ireland's
take that
number 2 podcast. We'll hunt them down. I think when we started the podcast as well, we had oh no, there's another podcast that like had the same name, but we didn't know them. We started first, and then they ended up messaging. They're lovely, weren't they? But they were like, oh yeah, you kind of like, you know.
No, it wasn't even that. I got a comment on a YouTube video saying like, "You podcast stealer, like you know what you've done," and I was like, I have no idea. So like, to be honest, my life's too short to deal with like shitty YouTube comments. So I either just like block them from the channel or delete or like just reply with a thumbs up or something now. And I had no idea what it was about. And then like one of the guys from that podcast, they're called the Hobby Hole. They sent me a message saying, "We're really sorry. One of our fans sent you a message saying, you know, having a go at you for this." And I was like, I didn't even know you existed. Like, you know, like not in a bad way, but I had no idea you existed. Like we kind of did it ourselves.
I really like their new name though. I think we should steal that.
We should steal that.
How would that be? You just change the name to their new name? That's a smart move. You should do that.
Welcome to the Hobby Hole.
We can definitely do that. But I think Scott, I think we've kind of come to the end of our time with you. I appreciate you coming on, and it's been absolutely wonderful to have you on. I'm off to have a baby soon. Well, not myself, but my wife. Like, you know, if he wants to come back on and join Ollie for an episode, and you guys could do one together, that would be amazing. But that's if you can.
Basically, Benji's leaving for the baby for a bit, so
okay.
You know,
maternity leave.
Yeah, I think we'll do an episode, and then we'll get rid of Ninjon, and then we'll call ourselves trapped under side quests.
Yeah.
And,
a little collaboration. Yeah.
There's something going on. No. But no, it's been really fun to chat again, man. I think I've spoke to you every sort of 18 months, but we chat in between a little bit, don't we?
Yeah.
So I'll chat to you again in 2027.
Okay. That'll be it. Yeah.
about something. No, it's actually thank you so much for joining us on this one. It's been good fun. Regardless of what anyone else thinks, I feel like I've learned stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's definitely. I feel enthused to make videos now. I'm gonna definitely 100% make a video in the next 18 months or so.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah, I've already got my Google Docs here of all my ideas, my video ideas. So now it's time to work on them. Benji, give me titles. Okay. Miniac, Scott, give me thumbnails, and then I might do them.
You might get to that elusive 100,000.
Yeah, I know, bastard. This year,
I want to hold this year, Benji.
This year.
When's the video coming out?
My video?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to put a time limit on it.
Oh, you should. You should.
As I said, within the next 18 months. That
okay. All right.
Not that serious.
Putting it in my calendar right now. 18 months. Yeah. Video.
Yeah. Check out if I've done another video. No, I have got stuff that I'm working on very, very gradually. Like this Hazard Strike stuff.
October the 16th, 2026, then, Benji, I'm going to message you. I'll talk every day and say,
make that video.
Scott says, where's your video? Because you haven't done it, you useless bastard.
But anyway, let's wrap everything up. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Scott, as I say, thank you so much for coming on. Make sure that you go and check out the sponsor of this episode, which is Fog of War Games. All the links are down in the description below. And obviously make sure that you go and check out Broadsword Wargaming as well for all your European wargaming needs.
And go and check out Miniac and Trapped Under Plastic, but listen to us first.
Yeah, I think you may not have heard of them.
Who's this guy?
But yeah, they're these up and comers that are doing all right on the YouTube. They've been around a little while, but we thought we'd just give them a little bit of a push. So
we thought we'd help them out.
I appreciate it. But also, I appreciate being here too. It's fun to chat with content creators, and so it's great to hear like what you're thinking about, what your struggles are, and like there are a lot of the same struggles that I have, and so it's good to relate. It feels good to chat with people who are like-minded and having similar issues and stuff like that. It makes you feel not alone, and also it's just fun to be out here and chat about the hobby with you guys and your interests. Like that's just a good time in general. So thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Isn't he a lovely guest? Isn't he a lovely
Fantastic guest? Fantastic guest.
He's such a good liar as well. He's great.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Fuck you. He's going to go ride around with his guns and stuff now and get his chops.
You better believe it.
Yeah, just firing guns in the air.
Why weren't we doing this an hour ago? I've tried to hold off on the impressions, but yeah.
So
too late. It's too late.
You've upset the Americans and the Irish now.
Wow, I've got about 1 minute 20 to get them all out.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know where I'm from. I'm from America.
Generic American accent.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Right. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot for all of that. Yeah. Wait.